Okay, here we are. Psycholonials. I've been wanting to start this one up for a long time, but always seems like something is getting in my way here. But anyway, enough futzing around. They've got I think chapter 4 out now, which is I Am Fallen Behind. So, an island sits off the eastern coast of the United States, a little over 10 miles wide, and most of the year, a little over 10,000 people deep. Ooh. This is made by Andrew Hussie, who's most well known for making the Homestuck series, but also a Problem Sleuth and whatnot. So, obviously, I've played the Hive Swap and the Homestuck games on here, so want to see what he is following that all up with. It'd be funny if this turns out to be better than the Homestuck games, but it's definitely possible. They call it a summer colony. When the weather gets warm, the number of people pushing down on the island swells to around 50,000. And you know what? Screw it. I will at least try reading all this aloud, although it'll probably mean I'll need to do it in a smaller episodes or whatever, but whatever. The town here shares its name with the island. You live here, you're one of the residents pushing down on the place year-round. The steady residents don't contribute much weight, though. Off-season life is like a reprieve for the island, like lifting the load off the back of a perennial workhorse. The summer crush is a different story. 100,000 feet at once give you the impression that the seasonal colonists have all conspired to shove this charming New England rock right back into the ocean. But 2020 is different. You don't see it happening this year. Can't say you're heartbroken about it either. Your name is Zen, or Jen. I think it's pronounced Jen. It's pronounced more like Jen than Zen. Okay. There we go. Well, most people have been determined to mispronounce your name since elementary school. So at some point you decided to go by Z, and it stuck. Stuck it to your parents, too, sorta, who endowed you with the romanization of a name which would either guarantee a lifetime of correcting people or interminably acquiescing to their wrongness. You like Z better anyway because it's yours, not theirs. It's roughly 3 p.m. and you have just woken up. Earlier than yesterday, but so that's a plus, with a bit of a hangover, but that's far from unusual. Holy crap, the audio is loud. Better. Okay. Your bedroom is a bit messy, but you don't notice anymore. It's a cozy little depression nest, and it serves its purpose well, which is to store the body of a depressed 23-year-old woman when she's not working. Whilst the doctor manages to accurately reflect her personality and emotional landscape. Well, the decor, not doctor. There we go. So the Hussie style. Bam. Ordinarily, you would reach for your smartphone before even getting out of bed, and whittle away the first hour of the day scrolling through the timelines of your various accounts. But for whatever reason, today feels a little different. You stand up to stretch your legs and have a look around to reacquaint yourself with the artifacts of your life which have achieved invisibility through familiarity. You've had this exact arrangement of posters taped to your wall since you moved here, but before that, actually, these posters were on the wall of your dorm in college, in this exact pattern. When the time came to make your desperate getaway from campus, you ripped it off the wall in one big taped-together mass, rolls it up, and hits the road. When you got here, you simply unrolled it and put it back up. Why mess with it? This particular hodgepodge of pop cultural nonsense says as much about yourself as you'd ever care to say you see a wall. Maybe it's a consequence of the media you consume that made you feel this way, but you've always believed you can tell a lot about a person by studying the things they used to like. In fact, you might even go as far as saying, in this era, an individual's personality isn't much more than a composite of all the media they've ever consumed, and their favorite stuff in particular. Oh, they got the insane Club Hussie in there. Oh, Hussie. That's why whenever you meet someone new, you kind of wish you could just look at their bedroom and take a quick tour of all their interests, sparing you a lot of laborious banter and wondering whether someone's worth your time. Again, it could be certain types of content you've consumed in your past which resulted in this philosophy, but you can't be sure. All you can do is refresh your memory in your various interests to reaffirm who you are to yourself, along with any imaginary voyeurs who have inexplicably decided to tune into your underwhelming morning ritual. That's your Metal Gear Solid poster. You have created a number of fan works for this series. Not a single one of them is suitable for children. Very few are suitable for most adults, actually. But never mind that. You think Kojima has an advanced understanding of war, which has eluded authors far more celebrated than he. You also think Kojima has an advanced understanding of horny gay men with enormous butts, which is an asset of far greater literary value in your opinion. It's the ICP. Insane Clown Posse, of course. You're way out of this by now, but you had a juggalo phase in high school. The reason for this decision was extraordinarily complex and layered. Far over the head of anyone who would ever be inclined to wonder if you even need to ask why. Being down with the clown cannot be fully explained. You mainly keep this up as a reminder of your roots. A reminder of a philosophy towards family which you prefer to be more conventional conventional definitions. There we go. You've had this up since 2017, which is before Post went apeshit with all the face tattoos. Increasingly, these days he seems determined to look like hot garbage, and yet the uglier he gets, the more fond of him you grow. You will never forsake this kind-hearted goblin prince. He could tattoo a dick on his face, and you'd probably weep tears of joy. Uh-oh, Homestuck. It's like you said when you checked out the ICP poster, you like to keep reminders of your pop cultural roots. There was a long story you read when you were young. You almost never talk about it now, but this guy is here to remind you. Whether you like it or not, it's a part of you now. I think Hussie's kind of talking about himself there, maybe. The calendar marks the days for your shifts at a local restaurant, where you work as a waitress. The page is set to February 2020, but this is wrong. The pandemic sent you into an unusually bleak depression spiral, so you haven't flipped the page in months. This is right. The date is April 20th, 2020. You guess you labeled a lot of these months in advance at the beginning of the year when you were in higher spirits. A week ago was a day relevant to a childhood interest, so you facetiously drew a little doodle to commemorate. And today, of course, is Weed Day. Not that you actually smoke weed. Yep, 4/13 is the day Homestuck started, so that's what we're getting on. Mostly on account of being too lazy to bother acquiring any, but that doesn't mean the annual milestone shouldn't be solemnly honored with the gravity of a religious holiday. As you stare at the calendar, you mostly just can't believe it's almost May already. Has it really been that long since you went to work? You guessed that. Must be right. Early March was the last day the restaurant was open, and you've been holed up here ever since without pay. You've gotten by borrowing rent money from your friend Abby, who has also been shut in since the outbreak began. Not seeing her in months, not seeing anyone really, has had a very negative effect on your mental health. Probably the biggest reason you've been waking up so late these days. There's a ton of computer equipment lying dormant. It hasn't been powered up in years, actually. Doing so would probably remind you of your college traumas. Sometimes you wonder if you will ever turn it on again. That's probably for the best. Your hacking days are behind you. A lot of those old projects you were working on could have gotten you into some serious trouble. Ooh, a hacker. These days, it's all about cultivating your brand. Although it hasn't been going that well, more to the point, you'd probably be the first to admit your online brand is fairly shitty. But one has to start somewhere. Rebuilding a social media presence after a series of psychologically devastating catastrophes doesn't happen overnight. On the floor is a printout of your manifesto. You wrote this a few years ago before your life melted down. It began as an ironic exercise, but the more you wrote, the less ironic it became. You completed it just before the series of calamitous events leading to the aforementioned meltdown. You doubt this is a total coincidence. Since, as Abby likes to point out, only crazy people write manifestos, which is more than a little hypocritical, since she's been actively writing one herself. Still, hers is pretty light reading. It revolves around her secret RPF. What is RPF? Shipping theories. Whereas the Jubilite Manifesto is an incendiary piece of left-wing literature that happens to revolve around unrepentant clownery. She's probably right to say it's for the best you never pick this thing up again. Your stroll down special interest lane has delayed the inevitable long enough. Time to get pulled into the vortex of your traditional wake-up scrolling binge. The timelines, the threads, the feeds, the comments, they won't brainlessly ogle themselves. You pause to admire your lock screen. It's a more recent pic of your boy Post, complete with all of his most recent utterly grotesque tattoos. The man is looking like fresh hell, your heart palpitates, and you feel momentarily nauseous, but you regain your composure long enough to unlock your phone. Your phone unlocks. There's your background. It's a gratuitously pornographic piece of fan art depicting two muscular homosexual soldiers caught in the throes of passion. You keep this one as your unlock screen so that prying eyes in public don't get a gander of material which some may find inappropriate. But, as your wise-ass friend has pointed out, the Malone lock screen is arguably more indecent to flash in public. So I don't really follow Post Malone or anything he does, so I'm just gonna have to take this on faith that this is a thing. I mean, is he like the new Nickelback or something? I have no idea, but whatever, there you go. But enough dithering over your gallery of obscene mails, time to check your accounts. Most of your effort in attempting to build a brand has come into your Instagram account. As a new influencer trying to get your footing, you've been tinkering with something in the e-girl genre. So far, you aren't doing anything too crazy. Your Dadaist impulses are what your TikTok is for. I forget exactly what Dadaism is, but whatever. Z69 Clown Boner 420. Now there's a name. The Bad Post Maker Nantucket. Okay, so yeah, actually reading this out is going to take me longer to do because I'm going to have to wet my whistle after every page or so, but yeah, I don't really have too much time to go into too much detail right now, but heck, I at least finally started it, so yeah, I'll probably record a bit more soon. Hopefully I'll get this uploaded maybe about the weekend. I don't know. Anyway, one more game on the backlog to get through. So anyway, till next time, later.